Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I don't want to overemphasize the importance of myself for this video, but I think it's it would be one of the more important videos, at least for me to do. I've noticed something in particular going through YouTube videos, especially it has to do with young men. When I say young men, I'd say between the ages of maybe 18 and 28, 19 and 29, I guess what you would call Generation Z young men. And I keep seeing a lot of this. The latest one I saw that that got me to do this video, that came up with the idea for this video. I'll have the link down below. It's a YouTube channel by the name of Mari, M-R-I. The link will be right down below to maybe like 3 of his videos that I watched. And when I watch these videos, and it's not just him, it's not just this one channel. I've seen at least 3 or 4 other channels with guys the same age pretty much saying the same thing. And when I watch these videos, a lot of it I can relate to. I'm over twice their age. I'm 58 years old. And a lot of it I can relate to. I remember feeling like this. I remember feeling similar to this. But there's some stuff that I really can't relate to. The best I could do is I really felt encouraged to make a video where at least I could do is talk about the stuff. Because right now where I'm at, I'm happy. And I made it through that period in my life. And the best I could do is talk about the mistakes that I know, looking back, the mistakes that I made, the way I handled some of this stuff, the feelings, the similar situations and circumstances between now and then. And, the mistakes I made, the things I did good and the things I did wrong. And that's the best I could do. And that's what I want to do in this video. All right. Like I said, it's guys that what it looks like 19 to about 29. This one guy, I guess Mari, M-A-R-I, this video down below, he talks about being 23 years old and never having a girlfriend. Let me say this. I think I'm guessing that a lot of this has to do with what's happened with the internet. The internet's a big thing. And I think there's pros and cons to everything. And one of the cons is I think it's created more separation, I wouldn't call it antisocial behavior, but it's just, back when I was in my teens, my early 20s, I would go to places. I would actually go out and walk or get in my car and go to places to meet girls, to meet women, to talk to women, to get phone numbers. That's what I had to do. That's what I was driven to do. That was what I did. And now people really don't do that. And that's one of the big differences. And another big difference is what happened with COVID. From 2020 to still now, it created a lot of distance between people. Let me say this though, when I turned 14 in 1980, when I first was thinking about getting sexually active, 14 years old, 1980 is right when HIV hit, when it first came out. And when it first came out, it was terrifying. It's not what it is now. There was no cure for it. It was a death sentence. And, and this is right when I was thinking about, wanting to get, my first intimacy. And, and this comes along. And that's, and now all of a sudden it could kill you, and back then it was different. We would see on the news, we would see pictures every night of people just wasting away in hospital beds, and it was a hideous, terrible way to go. People were terrified of this. People were, it was like being a leper, people, and it was terrifying. So there's some similar situations. In these videos, I've seen a common thing where like Mari says that he doesn't like being around people. He seems people annoying him. He just wants to be by himself. He's angry with other people, and he doesn't have a girlfriend, and he feels hopeless. Some of the stuff I learned, like I remember trying to be somebody who I wasn't. This is probably the biggest piece of advice I have. First of all, one of the biggest pieces of advice I would say is the surest way to lead an unhappy life is to compare yourself to other people. Like right now, right? I'm an artist, but I don't have like a full-time job. I don't make like $60,000, $70,000 a year. You know, people my age have grandkids, have houses, have homes, have vacation homes, have 3 cars in the driveway, have wives, kids, you know, and I could easily look at myself, compare myself to them and be unhappy. But that's not the way I look at it. What I've learned is that everybody has problems. Everybody has secrets. Everybody has terrible things, you know, no matter how much money you have or whatever, you know, there's, as long as you're happy is really all that matters. Back when I was younger, I remember a lot of the biggest problems in my life. I was trying to be somebody I wasn't. I was introverted. I didn't want to be around people. I still feel like that. I still have to push myself to go into social situations. But here's something I noticed. When I do push myself, even with family members, once I get into that social situation, like later after it, I feel better. You know, so now I've learned that I don't like, I have a natural aversion to being around people. I want to be by myself. But when I push myself, when I encourage myself and I actually do and follow through, I find that I feel better at the end of the day. I always say like, wow, I'm glad I did that. You know, I never have told myself, wow, you know, I wish I didn't do that. You know, I'm always happy that I push myself. So I've learned now to push myself out of my comfort zone. You know, and that I've learned that will make me happy. It's something that I'm just not, I just naturally don't do. I tried to be somebody I wasn't when I was younger. I thought, you know, I'm 6'3", I was 6'4" back then. And I attracted a lot of attention, but I was quiet. I was a quiet guy. I was kind of introverted, and that brought a lot of bullying when I was younger. And I always believed that I was, you know, I was supposed to, you know, I was a big guy. I was supposed to be extroverted. That's what I had to be. That's what I was supposed to be. And what that did, trying to be somebody I wasn't, led me to actually end up using. You know, that's one of the reasons, that's most of the reasons why I started using in the first place, which led to 2 decades of addiction in my life, because I believed that those things would make, seriously, like some of those different substances would make me feel more outgoing. You know, I still remember this one party where I used this particular substance from Colombia, a white substance. And, you know, I was the life of the party, one of the very first times I ever used it. You know, I was dancing, I was moonwalking, and the girls went up to my friends and, your buddy's fantastic, you know, bring him to more parties. What's his phone number? You know, and that was good. But what that led to was me wanting to use more. Like I kept going back and using, trying to be somebody I wasn't. Embrace who you are. Everybody's a freak. Everybody has secrets. That's one thing I've learned at my age. I look, you know, I'm not going to say anything in particular, you know, but at my age now, I've discovered things, you know, I've heard and found out things. The people I went to school with, the girls from back then, the guys from back then, and some of these crazy things that went on in their lives and their families, you know, the terrible things, the big secrets, the taboo, you know, the terrible things you never want anybody to find out, the things that make you feel like you're a freak, you know, that you're different than everybody else. And what I've discovered is every single person has those things. Every single person feels like a freak or has these big secrets, these big terrible secrets at one time or another. You know, there's nothing terrible or, you know, that you need to hide about yourself. Everybody has those secrets. Everybody feels insecure like you do at one time or another. Embrace who you are. If you're a quiet, freaky dude, a lot of times introverts, the people that you would think are freaks, end up being musicians, artists, actors, drama, poets, you know, stuff like that. A lot of times it leads to, you know, embrace your, fly your freak flag high, man. Embrace who you are. Don't try to be what you're not. Don't try to be what you think people want you to be. That's the surest way to be unhappy. As far as dating, this is a hard thing for me to relate to because honestly, I've always felt comfortable around girls. I remember having like a girlfriend when I was in third grade. The best thing you can do, everybody wants to feel secure. Everybody wants to laugh. Everybody wants to forget about their problems for a little while. Being proud of who you are. If you're a quiet, freaky guy, then be proud of being that quiet, freaky guy. And it will draw people naturally attracted to you. Women, girls so there's going to be girls that just will be attracted to that. And like I said, everybody wants to feel making somebody laugh, making somebody feel comfortable, making somebody feel safe and secure. Those are the things that are very attractive when you're talking about relationships. Being yourself and keeping the rest of the world out of your relationship, and just you and the other person, and making them laugh, making them feel good, making them feel secure and comfortable. Those are the best tips I could come up with for finding a relationship, finding a girlfriend, being in a good, happy relationship. Biggest thing is, don't judge yourself by other people. Other people, it's of no consequence. Whatever everybody else is doing, all that matters to your happiness is you and being true to yourself. I know it sounds corny, but that's the best advice I could give you. I want to talk more about this because trying to be something I wasn't, trying to be an extrovert and the life of the party really was almost the end of me. It led to depression and it led to me using, and it almost ended me. That's why I'm talking about this. That's something I feel like I see in some of these young guys. So I want to talk more about this, and maybe there's something good in there that you guys could take out of it. Maybe not. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Wednesday.